Hello everybody, and welcome to part 2 of the house lighting and ceiling fan tour. This second half will be the basement here, and there's a lot to go over, so we'll get right into it. So we'll start on our way going down the stairs here. I have this older vintage style clip light here with a GE C7 filament LED nightlight bulb in it, yet again. This one is the 0.5 watt version, so it's not too bright, but it's just bright enough to light up the landing entryway here in the evening when there's really no other light here in this area of the stairwell. There, of course, is the main light up here, but that's rarely on. And there is a light here at the bottom of the stairs. Just another one of these pretty simple lights here. In the future, I'm looking to replace this with a 32 watt Circle-Line fluorescent fixture, preheat. If all goes well, that would fit really well here because it's up higher, and that fixture that I have in mind kind of sits a little low. So that would be pretty cool to get installed here at some point. It's not exactly centered here either, as you can see. I'm sure it just depended on where, you know, the board is, and that's what it's nailed to. But it is on a dimmer here, so we can make it brighter and dimmer to our liking. So that is nice. If you come all the way down the stairs here, there's nothing here, but it feels like there should be because it can get quite dark here. And I thought about putting a light right here that kind of shines on the wall a little bit. I mean, they have this accent wall here that's kind of burnt orange. It was like that when I got the place. And it'd be nice if there's a little bit of something here just to accent the wall. Before we get into the big room, we'll turn this way and we'll find another one of these pretty standard ceiling lights with the bulb on one side. That's why it's brighter on the other side. For a while, when I first moved into the place, I had a 5 watt PL adapter in here. It did fit, believe it or not, but it was tight. And I ended up replacing it with a dimmer, so I can make it brighter or dimmer. You know, if you're staying here in the room and you just want a little bit of light at night, but not too bright, hey, you got that right here. So that's nice. It lights up the little area here to the garage real well. And we'll take a quick look into the bathroom here. I have this 4 bulb globe style fixture. This originally had the fixture that's in the little half bath thing for the master bedroom. This is kind of the same thing. Anyway, that used to be down here, but I replaced it with this fixture I got at the Restore. And I've always wanted to put these big G40 bulbs in it. So these are filament LED, fight electric. Looks like this one's a little out of place. Whenever they get cleaned, they get bumped around. But I really like the look of this with the giant globe bulbs in it. Being filament LED, it barely takes anything, and they're 100 watts a piece. So when you turn this thing up all the way, it's a pretty bright room in here. But again, it's on a dimmer, so you can dim it down to wherever you like. That's as dim as it goes, but that's okay. You have the night light here. This is a snap-on, I do believe. Yet again, we have a GE filament LED bulb, the 0.5 watt version. I believe snap-on, not snap-on, snap it. Snap it, I believe, is the name of the manufacturer for this one. And that's left on 24/7. Well, actually, I think this one, yeah, this one's brighter. This is the 1.5 watt. And the reason that I have that one in here, in this specific fixture, is because it not only lights up the sink here very nicely in the evening. Turn this off. See, it lights it up real great. You don't even need the light on when you come in here to use the facilities or whatever. It lights it up really well. And you do have this light out here, but it also shines out into the hallway, which works well. I can't really tell right now, but we'll try turning off this light. You can see a little bit here how it, comes out this way, so you get a little bit of light out in the hallway too. It actually works really well here. And that bulb's been going like that pretty much ever since I got the place. Those GE bulbs I have been real impressed with. And on the ceiling, we have a exhaust fan / heat lamp, and I have that on a timer here. So if we turn that on, we have a 250 watt GE heat lamp bulb in there currently. It's a more modern one. I picked it up at Lowe's when I got the place because they originally had an LED flood bulb in here. But I mean, the reason that they have a heat lamp in here is there's no heat register in this bathroom. So that's the only heat really. I mean, you can get heat from this guy right here, but it is nice having some heat from the lamp as well. And of course the fan works. It is quite noisy. It's not too bad right now. The blower wheel in it is actually broken, and I have fixed it with some zip ties, and it's okay balanced, as you can hear, but sometimes it can get unbalanced and I got to take it apart and fix it. But it's been going good for quite a while actually. And what bathroom is complete without a ceiling fan? Gotta have a ceiling fan in the bathroom. You know, everybody's got one. So here's my ceiling fan in the bathroom. It's one of these really cheap Hugger fans from Menards. Got this back home many years ago for $17 on sale. And it has since found its way here in the bathroom. And for multiple reasons, actually. There's a shower in here. It's also a laundry room. And I keep the fan on low, blowing upwards 24/7, 365, in an effort to keep humidity down in here. It's important that it doesn't get too humid so mold doesn't grow. You know, things can get quite humid, moist. Mold can grow easily, moss outside, all that kind of stuff here in the Pacific Northwest. So to combat that, I have this fan on all the time to just keep a breeze going in here. It helps circulate the air with the air out here, and it works quite well. This thing's been going, I want to say 24/7 for maybe 2 years or so now. Maybe a little longer than that actually. I originally had a little spinner in here, but it was a little bit low and I wanted to put that in the garage. And this works great. Being a Hugger, it's up high, it's out of the way, and it does have a light on it. It just has a daylight 40 watt equivalent filament LED bulb in there. Nothing super special, but it's just enough to, you know, do some laundry, some spot cleaning if you want a whiter light than warm white. Now, I'm a big fan of warm white for everywhere else, incandescent color, but you know, for certain situations where you're working on something, you want accurate color, see that stain, you know, clean it, whatever, this works well here. And it's not super bright, so, I mean, it probably would be nice if it was, but it works out. So, there is the little turn of the century Hugger fan from Menards, going strong. So, that's the bathroom. Let's move on over to the spare bedroom, as I call it here. First off, we have the Hunter ceiling fan. I believe it's a Mayfair, I already forgot. But it's definitely a Hunter. Installed it a little while back before my friends came out to visit. They really enjoy having fans on at night. So hey, perfect opportunity to put this thing up and get rid of the weird Lightolier fixture that was here. In fact, that thing's now sitting under this table here. I gotta put it somewhere. But that used to be up here. And it's much better having a ceiling fan, let's be honest, you know. So you can obviously have it on. Here's high. It moves a decent amount of air, but it definitely could move more air if it was a little further away from the ceiling. As you can see, it's pretty close to the ceiling. That's why usually when I have them this close, I just have them blowing up. But it does an okay job. I'll put it on medium. Now the light kit is not original to this fan. I actually picked it up from Lowe's, one of their schoolhouse globe style ones. I think it works pretty well on this fixture. The finish actually matches very well. I have no complaints about it. Real happy with it. So that's medium. And now this is low. So while that settles into low, let's take a look at the headboard here. We have this clip light from IKEA with the IKEA bulb inside, a little dusty there. But picked this up at Goodwill a couple years ago. It's screwed into a stud here, got some double-sided tape holding the switch on the wall. So when you're, laying in bed, you can reach right up and turn the light on and off without having to, get up to do this or the switch on the wall. Little side note, I do have a little power strip down here. It does have a little neon light in the switch, so I guess you get a little bit of night light if you want it. Well, you got to have it on if you're going to plug your charger in there to charge your phone naturally, but that is an option. And on the other side, there's an old Windows 98 computer, so you can plug your phone in here, and you have plenty of options there. So there's a light on the headboard, and if we work our way up to the window here, we have some more options. I'll turn off the light here so you can get the fan and the headboard light. And here we have this little mushroom looking light from IKEA yet again. It's another Goodwill find. All these are Goodwill finds. I haven't really picked any up directly from IKEA. But it has a little 0.5 watt GE filament LED bulb in there yet again. Love these things. So you get a little bit of a night light if you so choose. And over here by the wonderful Glaceons, we have another IKEA lamp with a GE filament LED bulb in there. You can kind of see it. It's a little lightly frosted style bulb. And next to it, keeping with the theme of IKEA lights, we have this little clip light here. Same exact thing as over there. And it just lights up this table here so you can turn it on. This also has a GE filament LED bulb. Same exact bulb as the one up there. So that lights up this little area if you want a little bit of light here for this table. This is yet another IKEA lamp I got at Goodwill. Has another GE filament LED nightlight bulb in it. Haven't decided where I want to put it yet, so it just kind of sits here currently. So that's the lighting and ceiling fans, or ceiling fan. There used to be one right here, but I've since taken it down in the little spare bedroom area. Naturally, we might as well progress right along here. And inside this display cabinet that my friend uses to display some of his items, I have this Philips Hue, I believe it's like a GU10 little floodlight bulb with an adapter into one of these older style sockets. Again, being that it is controlled by the smart home, so it can do all kinds of different on and off color temperature stuff during the day. Works really well here in the display cabinet, to be honest. And if we move on up, this is a pretty unique item. This I actually had custom made, the colors that is. The design was an already made design, but I chose the colors and all that from a seller on Etsy. And that's a pretty cool thing. I have this little remote for it here, but it needs a battery. So if we just go down here and plug it in, there we go. A little fox in the Merkave colors. Very cool. Now, this little remote here would allow you to dim it down, put it on a timer, I believe, and different things like that. But like I said, I need a new battery for it or something. It's just not working. But you can just power it directly with the little power supply and works just fine. Very cool neon look, but it is LED. You can kind of see the little wires go between them all. But if we take a little, oops, bump the chair, a little further look away here, you get the idea anyway. And as we move right along, we have this windowsill here full of little knickknacks and stuff. Whenever we find something, it kind of just makes its way onto this shelf here of items. But lighting up the shelf of items, we have some colored C7 incandescent bulbs here on a wonderful Lightolier light trim kit. Very cool. I love these things. Picked this one up at the local thrift store a couple years ago. Wasn't sure where to put it. This is a perfect application. It matches the ceiling fan over here and this one, so that's nice. But as you can see with the colored bulbs, the reason I chose the colors I did is it provides a dim light for this in the evening, but a little bit of color, and being mixed color, you do get white light. You know, all those colors together, you get kind of a nice, cool looking light over it with the colored bulbs. I really do enjoy that, and I don't really know if there's a way for me to show it very well. without the light off because it's still kind of bright outside. But here you can get kind of an idea as to it lighting everything up there. Very nice. I suppose we'll leave the light off for a moment and we'll move on up to the shelf here. Now this shelf I think is a really cool project. I'm glad I did it because it allows not only me to display some of my things, but my friends as well. And so they have some of their things up here too. I have obviously a mix of bulbs. And this area isn't really all set up yet, but we're getting there. So we'll start over here. We have an old Westinghouse style bulb adapter. It's originally made for a G40 globe. I picked this up quite a long time ago from a thrift store. I can't remember exactly where, but it was in my grandma's old town. So it did have a old GE 40 watt G40 bulb in it, but I used it with a 25 watt bulb for a long time in the bathroom in college. And then it lived here in the bathroom for a little bit with a IKEA G40 kind of vintage style looking thing. And now it lives on the shelf here with one of these bigger G60 size IKEA bulbs. Pretty cool. Now in the corner here behind this IKEA Sonos speaker, we have a G40 bulb again and a adapter that might look familiar to viewers who have been watching the channel for quite some time. It's the little red pyramid fixture. And this Blaziken here wants to fall off of the speaker. You see, when you listen to music quite loud and enjoy it, he tends to walk forward from the vibrations. So he's got to stay there with Lucario. Either way, it has 5 24 volt little rice bulbs inside of it in series. Very cool bulb. Picked that up online a couple years ago. Wonderful location for it. It lights up that little corner quite well, as you can see. And it actually sits on top of all the plugs and everything, so it covers that up too. I really like this little corner here. You get a little bit of everything. So, over here we have the starts of another Lightolier product. This is yet again another light trim with more GE filament LED bulbs inside, as you can see all the way down there. And you can move these and space them however you want, but I kind of have them spaced as evenly as possible. These are 2 tracks I picked up at the Second Use Building Place a couple years ago. Thought this would be a perfect application for it. It's a direct wire version, so it has this little box here with a toggle switch, so you can turn it on and off. But yet again, this whole shelf is on the smart home, so I can just tell, you know, the HomePod to turn it all on and off, and she'll do it. This is also connected to the same command for the shelf here. So we got some vintage CFL boxes up here and stuff, and old Norelco. Just some, you know, pretty neat bulbs and things. That's the lighting up top there. I'll take a quick little detour down. This is a lamp picked up at the thrift store a couple years ago. I always like these lamps with the bulbs in the middle down here. It just looks so cool. Now there's a lot of them that have, you know, very floral patterns on the glass, but this one really spoke to me. I really liked the smoked plastic. It is plastic, it's not glass. It would be nice if it was, but it's like a smoked plastic cover. Just the design of it, I just really liked it. And this is a shade that I have on it. Originally was on the other fixture upstairs that also has the little flicker flame bulbs in the bottom. And I just traded the 2 around. I just felt like it looked better. So there's that. Now, in the lamp itself, we have a Philips Hue bulb, a color changing one at that. Can we get a better look at it? Yes, there it is. Originally had a 5 watt PL bulb in it, but I really wanted it to be part of the smart home system. And these little flicker flame bulbs are on 24/7. And as you can tell, being on 24/7 for a couple of years or more here now, they've settled down a lot. They're not really that active anymore. The one in the back's a little active. We have 2 GEs and a Westinghouse. They're modern, nothing super old or special about them, but I just love this look. That is so cool. So that's the little lamp here. We'll move on down to this airport light. I've had this thing for many, many years. My dad picked this up for me from his work, and it's got the nice blue globe on it. Inside we have a small filament LED bulb in there. This thing has been on for many, many years. I want to say 5 or more years now. This thing has been on constantly. May have been on longer than that too, and it just keeps going. Wonderful LED bulb in here. No complaints at all. It's on all the time as a nice little night light down here. And here we have the wonderful fiber optic fixture. Let me plug it in. And there it is, all lit up. I have to get down here and plug in the little power adapter. I really want to put it on something part of the smart home system so I can have it turn on and off without needing to do that, but I haven't decided how I want to go about doing so yet. If you watch my second channel, Mercove, you would have seen probably that this was restored, and I picked it up from a thrift store. Had to put a new power adapter on it and a new plug and a new bulb. It needed some help, but I'm really happy with the result here. It turned out wonderfully. We have a little 10-watt halogen bulb inside with a little synchronous motor. Very, very cool. I always wanted a fiber optic light like this. I had one way back in the day, but I think that thing's long gone. So it's cool having a vintage one, not one of those. I mean, they make LED versions of these things, but this is a true, more original style one. Okay, moving our way over here to the little computer area. I have one of these kind of Luxo style lamps. Inside is a little GE S11 filament LED bulb, 1.5 watt. You can kind of see where it centers itself there, but it works really well. I don't want anything super bright when I'm on the computers, and this is perfect because, I mean, you have the light coming from the screen, and that's really all you need to see the keyboard late at night. And most of the time, this shelf is on, so it gives enough ambient lighting with the other lights in the room. It's not a problem, so I don't really need anything too bright. But if I do want something brighter, that's where this track lighting comes in. Now, originally, here in the middle of the ceiling, let me turn it on, was one of those Lightolier fixtures that was same as over here. One of these things, and it was right here in the middle, but I really wanted to have track lighting here. I've always wanted to have these big can track lights, and if they still made the R40 style, oh, I would have loved to pick that up. But this is as close as I could get. These are 3 Satco 3 lamp track light kits with the connectors here to put them together. So there's a total of 9 track heads, and you could get them still in R30 like this or R20 style, and a couple different colors and finishes and designs, but this is what I went with, a brushed nickel looking design. I really like it with the flat ends, with a full can with a flat end. You know, you could get the tapered ones with curved ends or this with curved ends. This is really what I wanted, and I think it looks awesome here. And while this Fox is wonderful, it is just so bright I feel like it's messing with the camera right now. So we're just gonna unplug it for the time being so we can take a look at these a little bit easier. Now inside I have EcoSmart. This is a par 16 style one, and this is probably a par 20. Yep, a little bit of a mix, and that's just depending on what they had in stock at the time. This is right around the transition phase where Home Depot and their EcoSmart bulb line was transitioning from just a standard bulb to these weird ones where you could select the beam angle. I think that's ridiculous because, I mean, you're only using half of the LEDs in these things, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I had to switch from the par 20s to these par 16s that they still had. That's just a regular one LED. They're not filament LEDs, you know, just regular flood style. but they work well. And again, I'm using these because they dim very well. Also, in the middle of the table here is this hanging light. This used to be a clip light, probably for photo production or something. I mean, it had the little wooden handle here on the end so you could position it without burning your hand. But I put it on one of these adapters for the track lighting. So it hangs down right here on the table. And of course you got your bulb there in the middle, hidden way up in the top, because this is made for a long neck, you know, high wattage incandescent bulb. But it lights up the table really well. And if we move it out of the way here, that's without it, and you put it back, it definitely adds some nice light to the table when you're playing a game or something. So that's been really nice. So talking about dimmability, might as well see it do that. And you can dim these down really nicely. That's not as dim as they go. These are full range, which is also a nice touch. So it lights up the room here quite well. The other nice thing about having the track lighting and most of the light being on this side is that you have a nice transition here where it kind of cuts off into another area. So if you're watching something on the big screen, you don't have a lot of light coming from over here, ruining your experience. But we'll get over there in a minute. So that is the track lighting. I'm going to turn it up all the way again so we can take a look at our next item, the Hunter Original. I'm going to turn on these other lights too. That doesn't really add anything. Anyway, this Hunter Original is the only one in my collection. Picked this up at a local restore back home for $20 many years ago with my friends. There's the little badge on the side. It's in the antique brass finish, and I forget the name of the color of the blades here, but what a coincidence that this is the same exact finish as this fan over here. Now the blades are a slightly different style and color, but hey, it's also antique brass, so they go together really well actually. So this is bolted directly into a joist up here. It is not going anywhere because, as you may know, these fans are very heavy. This is not on any type of switch or anything. It's just plugged directly in with the cord here. And I just put one of these little bells on the end. So if we turn it on, here we go with high. And it's up high enough that you won't hit it with your head walking around or anything. Obviously, if you put your hands up, you're in for a rude awakening with the blades hitting it there. But it's also down low enough that you can get a nice airflow coming from the fan here. So here we are with medium. And usually when I have company over and whatnot, just to keep the air moving around, I have this thing on low. It doesn't produce that much of airflow doing so, but that definitely helps. And I don't believe, yeah, this does not have a reverse switch. Oh, it does. It's over here. Yeah, look at this. This is one of the curious things with it, is that when the switch is up, it blows down. And when the switch is down, it blows up. But yeah, I'll have this thing on just on low so that it can circulate the air around down here. It helps with that. Okay, so we've kind of made our way here to the dividing little joist and air duct area here with the main beam and all that kind of stuff. And we're greeted with Merkave here at the top and my little lighting collection showcase deal going on here. So I don't know if I've made a video of this little case in general, all by itself, but I should definitely do that sometime. You can get a little glimpse of it here real quick. Some pretty cool bulbs in there. Okay, so next to Merkave here, we have the Mantle lighting, and above that, these wonderful eyeball can lights. They originally had incandescent R30 bulbs in them, but I've since replaced them with these little PAR 16 LED bulbs. Same exact bulbs that are in the track lighting over here. And naturally, they are on a dimmer, so you can dim them up and down. And they light up. I kind of have them pointing at the edges here. You know, normally these would be pointed at the middle, but when what you're trying to light up also lights up, there's no need for that. So I have them kind of pointed off to the sides here to light up different subjects. But let's finally get to the mantle here. So this first light, if I remember it correctly, is an agglutination lamp. It's a medical device that is used to, I believe, test blood or something like that. There's a whole story behind it, but I don't really remember all of it. And you'd hold up your vial here with the light, as you can see. And inside is a little older style GE nightlight bulb. And it shines off of this mirror, and it provides a light beam off of the mirror that kind of goes right across the ceiling here over into the corner. I have it aimed so at nighttime there's this like light beam that goes all the way across the ceiling here. It's not very bright, don't want it to be super bright, but it's kind of a neat effect. It just goes across the ceiling, and you can kind of see it a little bit right here, but it's bright, can't really tell. Okay, next item here is another one of these IKEA globe bulbs and an IKEA base. I did pick all this up directly from IKEA. This was not found at Goodwill, but I do like these. It's just off for the moment because it is quite bright. I'm looking for a different kind of bulb to put in here that's not so bright, that kind of goes with the nice glow of these other ones. And next to that, you got to have a lava lamp. It'd be neat to find some vintage ones, but they go for a lot of money. I've been thinking about getting some bigger versions at Spencer's Gifts. They still sell the bigger ones than these naturally, but I haven't really gotten around to it. So here's this one from Target, of all places. I love blue, if you can't tell, so blue it is with a white lava inside the wax. So here we have some star-gazing, star-style, I don't know what you want to call them, star infinity mirror-looking bulbs. My parents originally picked these up for a lamp that they had back home, but didn't really like them. They weren't that bright for what they wanted it for. So here they are in this antique-looking lamp. Should have a shade on it, you know, style, but I never could find a shade that I really liked on it. So here it is being used. I'm going to step up here so we can get a little closer. This one has an original socket inside. This one's a replacement. As you can see, it's not the same color. Okay, next we have, oh boy, I already forgot the name of this thing, but it is so cool. I think it's on the end here. Let's take a look. Lunalight, yes, Lunalight. Lunalight F8 T5 black light fixture here. It is preheat, so that is very cool. You know what, let me step back up on there's this ledge here for the fireplace that you can step up on, and you can see my mess of wires back here. I have this piece of trim, so you don't really see that, but I need to clean it up still. I haven't really gotten around to doing that. So we'll turn it off here and see if we can get some preheat action. There we go. And in the middle here we have an old ceramic socket with a dimmer and a whole bunch of splitters going on. So these are carnival bulbs I picked up from abandoned carnival rides many years ago. I should have gotten more, but I'm glad to have gotten what I did here with these four. These are really cool. They have a European style base in them, and it's an adapter, you know, with the little colored covers on them. And I really like them in this fixture. Being on a dimmer, I'm trying to prolong their life as long as I can. I have some of these little flicker flames and little S11 colored bulbs. Just a really neat kind of novelty lamp. Gotta have a bubble light. I made this little fixture for a bubble light many years ago. Let's try to just straighten it out a little bit there. Very, very cool. Just a little wooden block with a socket in it. And behind it here we have an F15T8 Norelco black light bulb. This fixture doesn't really have a name on it. It is preheat. The starter is hidden inside. I do have a video of it on the channel. Same with the Lumalight fixture here as well. This is a little crystal lamp. that my cousin gave me. I'm not sure what's going on with the little plastic cover there, but it does still work. I need to get more plugs and things back here to get everything lit up, and I'm still looking for more unique lights to put up here as well. But this is color changing, and it looks pretty cool when it's on. Next here is a very cool bulb. This is one of those ball of fire oscillating filament bulb here. I believe these were originally made by Capco or something like that. This is one of those reproduction ones that I believe one of the family members picked up and made for quite a while, and well, unfortunately discontinued a couple years ago. This was the very last of those. My parents originally picked 2 of these up to go in their lamps at home, but they actually didn't fit. They were a little too big, so good thing they picked them up because they're the only 2 I have in my collection. And they're pretty unique too. As you can see, it has a dark red top, an orange middle, and a yellow bottom. So you kind of get different colors depending on what way you're looking at it. But this is a very cool bulb, and I'm super happy to have it in the collection. I'm trying to think of ways to preserve the life of this bulb, and I'm not entirely sure what would be the best way to do so. I've heard that they're very strong, you know, it's a carbon filament and all, but I just don't want it to burn out. So I don't use it very often, but I also have this little thing in line with it. It's a little step down transformer for the Japanese market. So it brings the voltage from 120 down to 100 volts. And I don't believe it does anything to the hertz. It just brings the voltage down and keeps the hertz the same depending on where you are. But I've just put that in line to hopefully make it last longer. Now, if it's introducing some type of, you know, waveform that's not good for it, let me know in the comments down below. I'll take it out of line with the bulb, but I just want to find ways to make it last as long as possible. So moving on here, we have this little neon palm tree. This thing is actually pretty special. My grandmother had one of these in her window, not only down in Florida, but back up in Wisconsin. She, I believe, would move it back and forth when she would go down south or come back up north at the beginning or end of the year. Anyway, I'm not sure what happened to hers. I believe I heard somewhere it broke, or when she passed away, it got thrown away or something ridiculous like that. But I ended up finding this one at Goodwill, and I had to pick it up because she had this thing, and I remember it so well. It's very cool to have it in the collection. It's not LED. It does have a gas inside of it, has a transformer, and it works very well. Now this thing here is some type of a little tree light. I picked it up at Fry's Electronics before they closed. It originally was powered from a little power adapter and had little LED bulbs in it, but it's the same sockets as a standard 120 volt style bulb. We have candelabra bases up here and a medium base right here. So I converted it to use 120 volt and put these little tiny neon bulbs in here, and they're starting to flicker a little bit. So as you can see, it's kind of like a little tree with neon bulbs in the ends. Pretty neat. And lastly, here on the shelf, we have this little tiny candle looking light. I'm not sure if it originally was just like this all by itself. It had a standard incandescent, you know, B15 or something size bulb in there, but I put a little flicker flame in there, and this cover came with it. I thought that would look pretty cool. The other reason I picked up this particular light is my grandmother had some wind chimes that had the same type of material on them. Not sure exactly what it is, but it kind of reminds me of those. So I thought that was a pretty neat thing to pick up. So there's the lights on the shelf. I'm always on the lookout for more to get up here, but that's what we have at the moment. Oh, I forgot to say, in the display case here is another one of these Philips Hue white ambiance bulbs, same as the display case over there, and it's controlled the same way with the smart home. So, in the corner over here, we have the start of this very nice antique Noma 20 bulb C7 light string. Picked this up with my dad on a trip up to the UP one year. It was at an antique store for a pretty cheap price, so I decided to pick it up. It's in very good shape. It does have fuses on the end. The plug is a little questionable, but other than that, there's no cracks or anything in the wire itself. I'd like to put a dimmer or something on it, so, you know, these are still the original incandescent bulbs that it came with. And as you can see, some of them still have the original little bells that were probably on the whole set at one point. So those are still on here. But those are just held up with tacks, and it just gives a nice little light going around here. A little backstory for that as well. My grandparents in Milwaukee had antique C7 Christmas lights like this down in their bar area. So I wanted a little bit of that to remember them by as well. So this is pretty cool. Nice having that down here. I've thought about putting another 7 bulb set just to extend it a little ways here, but haven't really gotten around to it. If we come down here, we have a little uplight with a Philips Hue bulb inside of it. And of course, color changing and all that on the smart home system. So that just kind of provides a little bit of light here in the corner. And to follow the lights over the top here, we get to the other corner here by the couch. And we have a torchier style lamp, one of these with the big mogul base bulb in the middle. So you have 100, 200, and 300 watts of incandescent power. And down below here, of course, we have the 3 individual lights. I kind of have some different style bulbs in here. One of these spun glow style bulbs. It looks like the stuff on it's starting to come off, probably from cleaning it or dusting it or something. It's just coming apart. And one of these 25 watt orange flame style bulbs. And this little replica bulb here. I'm trying to think. I think it's like Ferro Watt, F-E-R-R-O Watt is the manufacturer of these. I do have some carbon filament replicas from them as well, but this one uses a standard tungsten filament, and they kind of curl it around to give you that look. That's, I believe, 30 watts. So I have this set up. You can have just that one, a nice dim light, if you want just a little dim light over here. Those 2 brighter ones are all of them all together. And down here is a little globe light with a Philips Hue bulb inside of it. Yet again, on the smart home system, it changes colors and does different things depending on the time of day. So that kind of gives a little bit of accent lighting in the corner over here. Not much up here. There is a hook here for a ceiling fan. I'm looking to eventually get one here in the future. But if we move on over, we have this table lamp here. Nothing too special, but I kind of have a story with it. My grandparents in Milwaukee, again, had a table lamp like this. I believe they had a couple of them, actually, with the giant shade on it and a little table. And inside, most importantly, were circle line adapters. Now, one of them had a circle line adapter, and the other one had a Sylvania early electronically ballasted bulb. One of those that kind of has the PL bulb in the middle, but the giant ballast. And I really wanted to recreate that, but I never had one of those lamps. Now, there was this wonderful lady back in college that found this lamp, I believe, at an auction, and picked it up, or it was in a lot of things or something like that, and asked me, because she knew I was interested in lights, if I'd like to have it. I said, well, sure, that sounds awesome. So here it is. Now, it didn't come with a shade. Well, actually, it may have came with a shade, but it was pretty fallen apart. This shade actually came from my grandmother when we were going through her closet of stuff, and I was like, hey, I got the perfect application for it. Here it is. Now, I had to replace the switch on it, and I had to put a pull chain. You know, why wouldn't you have a pull chain on a light like this? Look at that starter, too. That was my solution to a stuck bad starter that was internal. Just put an outside starter socket on it. And the electrical tape there is to help hold it in place The clips don't hold the socket on very good anymore, and that just helps it stay there. So, a little bit of history behind that one as well. And I do believe that's it. That's all the lighting down here in the basement area. Take one quick glance around again. And there we go. One last thing under the stairs here, we have this Phillips circle line adapter. Preheat, there's a little glance at the box. Works quite well. It's really close to the wall, but it's never on that long to really make much of a difference. Let's see if we can get some preheat action. A little bit. I really do hope you enjoyed this tour around the basement lighting and a couple ceiling fans that are down here at the moment. And as usual, if there's anything that you see that you want me to do a video on that maybe doesn't have it already or to go over again, please leave it down in the comment section below. There will be kind of like a third part or a whole separate video of the lighting out in the garage, and that's going to be a long one, so probably just as long as this one, if not a bit longer. There's a lot to go over out there. But that's it for part 2 here, looking at the lighting in the basement. I do hope you enjoyed, and also please come, rate, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.